Hello and welcome to Ironcast. I'm Chris Skull. Joining me, the one and only, always believe in your soul. Carlton Cole is here.
How you doing, mate?
And look who we've got as a guest this week. In 16 appearances against West Ham, this man scored 12 goals. We had to sign him to stop him. Welcome to Ironcast, Callum Wilson.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah,
That's a hell of a record, Callum.
brilliant record that.
And you can see why the fans are like, oh, this guy is in our nightmares.
Yeah.
And now we cheer for you.
Yeah.
Did scoring as many goals against West Ham, did it kind of put the idea in your head that actually, maybe I belong here?
There's a little bit of that, obviously. I guess I like playing claret and blue, whether it's for yous against yous.
Yeah.
I think for me, as a striker, playing in the Premier League, you get put up against opponents week in, week out. I guess if I wasn't doing my job, I wouldn't be scoring goals. And then once you get your first goal as a striker, as anybody knows that plays in that position, just like buses, come and again. And I managed to get 2, and then I had a penalty and got the 3rd. And then from then, whenever you would play against West Ham, you'd have that little bit of extra confidence. If you're on a potential goal drought, for example, say, and you hadn't scored in a while, from memory, I've scored against this team before.
Yeah, you're right.
And then you would pick yourself up again.
I had the same thing with Fulham. Like I always scored against Fulham. I used to love going Craven Cottage on a cold winter's day.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I knew that there would be a present for me over there to open up. But no, listen, I get what you're saying. There's that sense of, even if you have a little goal drought, there's that sense of confidence, just thinking there's an opportunity there, because I've done it a few times and I've had good times there, and it just opens something else up and it gives you that extra, and you just know your luck's in. And when you do score, it's like, I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah, listen, man, you're here now and you've already started scoring for us. So how's that been? How was your first goal for us?
Yeah, it was a nice moment.
Yeah.
Obviously, coming off the bench, you're watching the game go on, pass you by. It was 0-0. So in your head as a striker, you're thinking, I'm going to be the decisive person in this match today. I'm going to get myself a goal. And I just come on with that mindset, that intent, started getting shots away whenever I could.
Yeah.
Trying to help the team push forward up the pitch,
Really
add
noticeable.
something different, to what I was watching for 60 minutes, because yes, you're on the bench, but I'm not just sitting there watching the game pass me by. I'm sitting there analysing the defence, analysing the striker that's playing in my position as to what he's doing and what's working, what isn't working. And then I offer something different. And it was my game, really, that suited in terms of running in behind, started threatening the back line, and then it helped the midfield get more space. And thankfully we got the win.
You see that? See that? That's a proper professional. That
Yeah, what were you thinking about on the bench?
Because this is what I tell my son, who's a striker.
Yeah.
And because he's right now he's on limited minutes for West Ham, and I'm saying, listen, when you go on, but you can't go on blind. Watch the striker, what the deficiency of what the defender has, so you could capitalize on his mistakes and what he's weak at. So that's how you actually go in and play a game to your strengths, because you've been watching that whole time. So use that as a time to be studying the game, because you've got that extra time, right? And you can study it right in front of you. And that's what you've done. You realize, okay, they're weak in this. I might be able to capitalize on it.
Exactly. And I think obviously, Fuller's a different profile to me.
Yeah.
So what he was offering was not necessarily the wrong thing, but it was just that the game in that moment probably needed someone to stretch it a little bit more.
Perfect.
So for me, yes, I can come to feet, but also running in behind. And I thought it's time to just threaten in behind straight away as soon as you get on the pitch to let them know actually you've got a game on your hands in terms of face your own goal.
See that? Running in behind, being a willing runner, it's a dying breed.
It is.
You know what I'm saying?
It is.
How many players just want to come to feet all the time now?
Yeah.
Go that way, stretch them, and it brings us up the field as well. But I don't know how it's not being coached at the moment, do you?
Well, one thing I would say, Callum, is like when you did come on, I don't know if you saw the club clipped it up. There was your run in for the goal where you're weaving in and out and the defender's having a nightmare. That was such a clever run. And I guess that's exactly what you're saying, right? You were sat on the bench thinking, right, this is what we need.
Where did you learn that?
Hey, well, I think I've been around the block.
You know where I learned that? I learned that off Crespo. So, and I learned it watching it, because I wasn't actually. So when you go like that, you go first, you show yourself, and you go behind him.
Yeah.
And he's like that. He doesn't know where you are. I learned that of Crespo, and I actually come here, not obviously Upton Park, watching it from the stands. I went on the bench, and I saw his run against I can't remember who he was playing against, what defender, but he was playing for Chelsea, obviously, and he'd done that same thing, and then he got in and got a goal. And then I saw you do the same thing, and I was like, he must be watching Crespo that time.
No, do you know,
studied the game.
I think for me, I've sometimes watched Benzema over the years.
Oh, he's been doing that.
And he does it, obviously, quite often. But against someone like Murillo, he's strong character. So if you are running into the box and he grabs you, it's difficult to get away from. So not letting a defender be touch tight with you, as soon as they feel you, it's going to stop your momentum into the box. And for me, I knew that he didn't want to run back. He just thinking, if I stop him, I don't have to defend it. So not letting him touch me was vital. And then obviously I can see both the ball and the man at the same time, whereas it's difficult for him to see me as well as the ball, you know. So being in his blind side and then faking to go to the front.
Perfect display of what a striker's supposed to do in that position. So anybody or any kids watching this, please go and watch Callum Wilson's goal against Nottingham Forest. You'll learn a lot.
I'm interested by influences. So Coley's just dropped Hernan Crespo in there. I've chatted to Jermaine Defoe. I know he was obsessed with Ian Wright. Who were your big influences growing up?
I would say Thierry Henry. I would watch on YouTube when I was kind of having the game the next day. I used to watch matches there as a kid as well, and they obviously analyze different goals, and goals don't just happen, you know, it's always 5-10 seconds before it, and how players would find themselves in space and things like that. So I guess those guys I probably idolized a little bit, and I was a late developer, so I didn't go into the youth team until probably 15. Therefore, I had a different experience kind of growing up, really, in terms of I played grassroots football for a lot longer than most players probably would. I guess some people think of it as a negative, but for me, I was then scoring 40, 50 goals a season, and the ball would hit a post, it would bobble on a divot, and I was able to judge all of these markers. Exactly. So then for me, going into the youth team setup and then going through from League One up to the Premier League and then representing the country, the goal is the same size, the pitch is the same size. It's all about your mind and how you perceive it as a challenge, you know. And for me, I always thought, actually, you know, if people doubt me, no problem. You know, it's the same grass pitch as I've been doing it years ago. So it's fine. And that's how,
Coley's loan manager at West Ham, and there's one thing in your career that we were both interested in, which is that when you were at Coventry, they were in League One at the time, you dropped down to non-league. You had a couple of spells, Kettering and Tamworth. Coley loves that because he's always saying the kids need to get out and experience some real first-team football. What was your motivation for dropping out of the league system to go get experience in non-league?
So at the time, I was a relatively unknown player. So I was 18, I think I was, and not many league clubs being at a current League One club would then take a punt on you for a loan. They hadn't seen me play first-team football and things like that. So there was a manager called Marcus Law at the time, and he was a manager of Kettering Town, and he was from Coventry area, and he'd watch our youth team games and things like that. So he was quite familiar with me and how I played, and said that, you know, I think you can handle men's football, and would you like to come on loan? At the time, I just didn't want to play the 21s games all the time. Makes and I thought, you know what, go and play a match that means something. So I went there, and it was an unbelievable experience in terms of I played right midfield at the time, so it wasn't a position that I would find myself in. But when I would turn up to matches, guys would be pulling up with in their vans from their paint jobs that they were working, and still dedicated to play football. So it just showed me that, you know, they're playing football and they're still having to do a part-time job as well, which is fantastic. But for me, if I wanted to be a footballer, I was like, you know, I want to push myself higher than that. So I used that experience to think, right, this is football, but also I've been at League One as well. So I thought I want to push on through the leagues that way. And I got a great experience on and off the pitch, really.
That's for me, that's massive, because there's a lot of footballers nowadays that will look at it and see dropping out the league to go and play men's football as a bad thing. It's not. You're going there, it's work experience. You're going to learn and see what it means for somebody else. And then that even gives you an incentive to actually go and bust a gut for them. So, you know, they need a win because he needs to get his bonus.
Yeah, of course.
Do you know what I mean? And I'm the man to do that. And they're gonna hold me up in high regard if I come here and try. How did you attack it when you was out on loan? Like, what kind of effort was you putting in? How was the training? How was all of this stuff? How did it combine for you to be performing on a Saturday?
So for me, obviously, you come from a first team environment where you're playing with players that are a bit of better quality, of course. So that took a little bit of a hit, but you went there from being, I'd say, a small fish in a big pond to a big fish in a smaller pond, really. So you went there feeling like the man, even though you was 18 and stuff. They would look at you as, we've got this player, he's a lone player, how's he going to act, what cards he putting up in, things like this. Whereas for me, I was like, I've come from nothing. So for me, I always have a work hard mentality, regardless of how far I've gone in my career, really. So for me, I was like, right, I'm going to turn up here, I'm going to give everything, and I'm not performing. Yes, I'm performing for this manager and these players, but I'm performing for my manager from my club that's watching me, because I am only on loan. And ultimately, if I was to get released from Coventry at the end of that season, at least I've performed well, that people will see me and think, actually, I've seen him play men's football and he can perform well. So I just took the opportunity with both hands, really. And like I say, I used it as a great motivation for myself to think, right, okay, I'm testing myself at this level, but it's not the level I see myself playing at.
Yeah, beautiful.
3.5 years between you playing for Tamworth and making your debut in the Premier League. That is like...
crazy.
Yeah.
But that's the attitude. See, the attitude, that's what got him there, quick. Because half of the battle is the attitude that you approach the game with. And if people can see, well, it's not in his ego. He wants to go and play football. All he wanted to do is play football and get as high up as in the football pyramid as possible. And that's what he's achieved. So that's why I'm not surprised that he done that within 3 years.
Yeah, 3.5 years. And then your first Premier League goals or a hat-trick against West Ham, as we've covered.
Here we go.
Fun fact, did you know you were the last away player to score a hat-trick at Upton Park?
I do know that, yes.
Oh, okay, cool.
I mean, I'm a striker, you know your goals, your stats. I think it was... And
that's brilliant.
Being such an iconic ground, I felt that, when I did see that, I think I read it somewhere and I was like, it's such a nice, fitting thing to now be joining West Ham, you know? It's nice.
Yeah. That's wicked.
You made your England debut in November 2018 against USA, and obviously you score on your debut. What did that mean to you? I mean, you just been talking about there playing with players at Tamworth who may be pulling up in white vans because they're working in the week, and then you're scoring at Wembley for your country. What did that feel like?
It was an unbelievable feeling. Obviously, I'd worked hard in the years before it to try and get a call up, but never quite achieved it. I obviously thought I'd warranted call-ups and before that, but being at Bournemouth, a team that was in and around the bottom of the league, it was difficult to be noticed as much. And if I was doing it at a team, I was top 4, and you're fighting in big games. So to get there, I had to kind of, in my mind, feel like I deserve to be here now. I've worked so hard. I'd been in the Premier League for a few years. I think I'd had 2 ACL injuries at this point. So I was like, right, this is your moment now, and I kind of visualized myself the night before scoring and how it felt and what it would feel like. And when I stepped out onto the field, it was almost like I'd already lived the moment, if you know what I mean. In my mind, I'd lived that moment. So I had chances after chances and I was missing. And I was like, I'm going to score at some point because I've already experienced this, And I see him, Marcus Rashford, warming up, and he was standing on the touchline at the time. And I thought, I'm coming off in a minute. So I was like, dart to the front post as quick as you can. And I managed to get the first contact from Dalfie's cross, and unbelievable feeling. And scoring for your country, I think is up there as probably with the pinnacle of my career.
I didn't get to do it, Cal. I didn't get to do it. 7 appearances off the bench. Goal to game ratio was non-existent. You know what I mean?
I mean, I ain't been seen since then anyway, so don't worry.
Oh, mate, well, I'd have loved to, but I come close, but it was just not.
What was your closest you come? You remember? Was there a specific
My debut, it was against Spain over in Seville, and gone round the goalkeeper, and I've passed it in the net, and then this other player, the left back's come from nowhere, and cleared it off the line, and that would have been my claim to fame, but I ain't really done it. So
what's meant to be would have been,
you've done something I ain't done. I can always compare myself to people, but I can't compare myself to you because you've done the goal scoring for England. So kudos to you.
Hey, no, thank you. I appreciate that.
Respect, big respect.
Callum's got one more over you because Callum was in the World Cup squad.
All right, mate. Mate. Where's this batter Colin day? I've already taken the
we switch roles. Have I got a gig now?
You'll be here soon.
Hey, you never know.
But you were in the standby squad, weren't you? Was it 2000?
What's one of those?
Forget about that.
You got the suit. You had the suit.
Can we move on, please? It's not about me.
But what an experience to go to World Cup with England. You played a couple of games there too, as Iran and Wales, wasn't it? Like, so what was that whole experience like, going to a World Cup with England?
It was unbelievable. I think, leading up to it, I hadn't been in the squad for 2.5, 3 years. And I knew there was a World Cup on the horizon. I was like, yep, I'm going to go there. And people was like, oof, you ain't been for 3 years, thinking I'm kind of delusional. But I think you have to be borderline delusional in your thinking to be elite,
So anything.
To anything, to be successful. And I felt that when people were saying, oh, where are you going on holiday in the winter break? And where are you going? And I was like, I'm going to the World Cup. And they were like, okay. And then would carry on their conversation. And I actually really believed I was going to the World Cup. So I didn't book anything. And I had a setback just before, like in the camp before it. So I didn't even make the September squad. And I was like, kind of what's it going to be like now? So I had probably a 2-week, 3-week rehab where I was like, right, I'm doing everything I can to hit the ground running. And then, I think I scored like 4 in 4 or 5 in 5 leading into the squad Perfect announcement. Timing. And you couldn't hit it at a better time. Yeah. You go there and experience it. And I mean, it was unbelievable. Great group of players. And we were just unlucky on the tournament, but that's something no one can take away. I probably should have shot and scored rather than set it up for Jack. And I got obviously my first game, but happy to get an assist on my World Cup debut. Yeah.
Brilliant, man.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
We could have won that World Cup, that France game. Where actually, when I watched it back the other day, I was like, we're all over them. Yeah, like how they ended up winning that.
We weren't far off at all. Nah. It was just a few details, wasn't it? It's just a few details and a bit of luck as well. So yeah, but you've been there, man. You've done that, man. That's unbelievable, and so what a great achievement, bro. It's
thank you.
Honestly, playing the World Cup is unreal.
Yeah, huge. And are you visualizing USA 2026?
I am indeed.
Oh,
yeah, I am. I'm not afraid to say what I think because I add pressure to myself, which is I thrive under pressure, really. Yeah. So, of course, it's been a while since I've been in the squad again, and there's players in my position that are playing fantastic. But I think beyond Harry Kane, I don't see much competition that, is kind of, right, they're set in stone to go. So I feel that I have an opportunity to impress. If I hit form for West Ham, which is the priority because your club form is what gets you there, So focusing on my football day to day, week in, week out. Ultimately, I've not played under this manager yet, so it'll be nice to get an opportunity at some point beforehand, so we can see what I'm about, not just on the pitch, but off the pitch as well. And if it's meant to be, it'll be. If not, then, I've already represented my country at 1 World Cup. 2 is being greedy, but I'll still take it,
No, to be honest, you're right when you say there's not much happening after Harry Kane. That could be a development if you obviously get in the game time here and you're getting on the pitch and you're scoring goals like we all know that you can. I don't see why not. And if we're further up the table and we're doing well, eventually, obviously, we're just trying to get things together right now to get to that point. You never know what happens by Christmas. You might be looking at a different landscape, So,
of course.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I'm visualizing with you, bro.
Yeah, thank you.
I want to see that because it's only going to make us better,
So obviously, West Ham fans, before you signed, knew you best as the guy who scored against us every time you played. But also, you had a podcast with Mikel Antonio, and obviously we've got an accomplished podcaster on the show, Coley.
Yeah.
What did Mickey say to you about joining West Ham?
So I spoke to him because it was kind of kept quite quiet initially with his situation going on as well. I was unsure how to approach it, but us being friends and us having a podcast and us basically we just say what we think to each other. I just called him and said, Mikey, I'm going to be joining West Ham. He's like, I know, fantastic club, blah, 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 blah. And then I just asked him about his situation, what he'd be doing going forward, because I said, obviously, you're number 9 and I respect that. And if you're going to be, staying around, which I was unsure about, then I wouldn't, try and take it or anything like that. But he said, carry on. So I got his blessing, really. Fantastic player who's worn it before me. And I just like to keep doing it justice like he did.
That's wicked. He's a good sport, Mickey, isn't he? So
yes,
he's definitely. He must have given you the blessings.
100%. And like I say, he was a great conversation.
Yeah.
He couldn't speak highly enough of West Ham, and he just said about his situation.
Sport,
and
I'd have been seething.
I guess he probably already would have known what he's doing already, without saying anything about his personal conversation that we had.
Yeah.
But I mean, like I say, spoke to him because I thought, you know, as
out
a friend and out of respect,
Makes
I don't
sense.
just want to turn up and him see me there, you know. So it was actually nice. We shared a few days together, overlapping, where he was training with the 21s and keeping fit. I was obviously in the training ground and stuff, and we sat next to each other and we just kind of said, it's a shame we're not at the club at the same time. But there was times on the podcast when I would joke around on there. It's like it's a bit of fun.
Yeah,
so there's things that you would say that, you know, kind of on the edge. You know, you forget sometimes that everybody in the general public is going to listen to it.
And I know about it.
But when I used to say
to learn that lesson every week.
When I used to say to him, look, I said, you know, I'll come down to your club and take your position and your shirt number and things like that. I didn't actually think it was going to happen.
You willed it on. You know what? See his
every time.
You know what his mental thing, right? Yeah, like if he pictures something and he visualizes something, he's getting it. Or the power of the tongue.
Although if any of my mates ring me up and say I'm going to take over as host of Ironcast, I'm like, no way. That is not on my watch.
Give the blessings,
no, there'll be no blessings. I'll just be visualising their downfall the whole time.
He's bad mind.
You're bad mind, man. It's what's best for the club. It's what's best for the club. You've had your time.
No chance.
You've had your time.
Callum, let's talk about, I mean, we're just fresh off the back of the Spurs result, not the result any of us wanted. What's the vibe in the dressing room like at the moment?
It's one of that's obviously, we were frustrated about the result because we know how much it meant to the fans, how much it means to us. It was off the back of a win prior to that, so we wanted to build momentum and keep things moving forward. Football's football, you know. It's still, I know it's easily said, but it's still very early days. We're still finding our best formation, our best team lineup, and we're all working together. No more so than the manager, you know, he's first in, last out, dedicated to us to improve individually as well as a team. So we're doing the same, and that's reciprocated. And I think as a fans, well, as a unit of strikers and players and stuff like that and staff, I think it's important that we all stay united with the fans and with the club, and we all push in the same direction, and everyone wants to be successful. We want to win games. No one wants to lose, but it does happen, and there is teams out there that are improving year on year, and they are becoming better and better. Yeah. So the league's getting difficult, but as long as we focus on ourselves, that's the most important thing.
I heard that when you first joined the squad, you were saying, I can't remember how I heard this, but you felt like the quality in the squad was really good as any club you'd been at previously. Was that accurate, that rumour I heard?
Yeah, I think, it is. There's no doubt about that. You know, there's players within the squads, you know, there's a lot of international players in the group. I think international break recently highlighted that when I think there was about 9 players and the rest was made up of youth players that we had for training sessions. So it shows that there's a lot of international quality within the squad, and everyone's hitting form at different times. And once it all clicks together, I've been in teams before where I was at Newcastle prior to this, obviously, and we didn't win our first game until around November, and we ended up finishing 12th in the league. So for me, like winning the game or losing the game, I don't really look at league tables this early in the season, and I'm not sure if everyone thinks the same way. But as a footballer, and you would know, you've been in squads before, that it's too early to start, you know, looking. Of course, within the Premier League, there's 2 leagues, isn't there? There's your top 6, top 8, and then there's a league below that where you want to come top of to get into the top 10. But as long as you're focusing on week in, week out and games where we're, you know, more likely to win, that we are picking up points and stuff like that, it's important. I think it's important that we make our home games more of a fortress, you know, and try and make it difficult for teams to come here and pick up results. And I think you see Sunderland, they're starting to do that, where they're making their home games, and that's sometimes what teams like that would base staying up on, is winning their home games. So yeah, I think there's no panic. No.
Yeah. I agree. As long as you make this place a fortress, fans are on board, everyone's on board going forward, and you're doing the right things on the training ground, and you're seeing the repetitive habits, the good habits coming through on the training ground. Eventually, hopefully that'll transfer onto the pitch to be winning games on the pitch at home, especially where we look sometimes a little bit vulnerable sometimes because we don't know each other yet. But I think once we get that that gel which we're working on every day at the training ground. Because I see you guys training, and I see, and it's not a joke. Everyone's serious about their job, but you have a laugh and a giggle. But you know, they're out there working hard to make things right. Come off a back of a bad loss against Spurs, obviously, but I'm sure this week's going to be building up into something special for the next game, and it looks like that to me because that's what I see.
Yeah, of course. I think obviously when you're off the back of a defeat, it hurts,
but
you can't dwell on it because the game is coming thick and fast. So of course you have your Sunday, your Monday where you're a little bit deflated and disappointed, but Tuesday comes for your big session, and you have to be ready. You have to go again, hit the ground running because you're preparing for the next game, which is even bigger than the prior to that, you know? So that's important.
Before we wrap this episode of Ironcast, we're going to have, for the first time ever, Strikers Court. I introduce your judge and jury, Carlton Cole. And the crime is Jared Bowen almost scored one of the greatest goals in Premier League history. Nipped the shot away from under his feet.
Proper striker.
I've now... Judge and jury Coley as a fellow striker.
Can I put my evidence there first?
That's in the case.
So the defence is Jazz is doing a fantastic run, no problem. I've obviously made an angle for the pass. He didn't pass it, he chopped. So obviously he's coming into my section where I'm waiting now.
That's what they say.
It's his fault.
This is my office. In the 80-yard box is my office.
You stepped in.
So when you come into my office, right, if you come too close to me, I have to take that.
I'm taking that.
No, I'm joking.
Like, you know what it is? I get what you're saying because this is my establishment here. Yeah. You walk into my establishment, everything around here is mine. Yeah. So if you want to come in, I didn't let you in. You came in with the ball. I must shoot now. Thank you. I know what you're trying to say.
The thing is, because he was running at such speed, starting to stumble, but on his right foot as well, if he's a few meters away, of course, I'm not going to run over to him and get involved. But when the ball is on the end of my toe, I don't think no other striker in world football would try and dink it over the goalie or shoot. No. Obviously, I took a whack in the Achilles off Jazz as well, and then an earful afterwards. So I was a bit like, it's a double whammy. If you take it, you have to score. Obviously, I know that now. Unfortunately, I didn't. But there's a long season, you know. There'll be times where Jazz can square to me or he doesn't, or I'll repay him and put one on the plate for him. And there's no love lost between us.
It's the pitfalls of a very, very good striker. That's what it is. Like,
apologies,
that is what
guys,
it is.
But you know what I mean?
It's just the nature of a person that scores that many goals. You know what I mean? So you just got to take that on the chin, Jazz.
So what's that? Not guilty?
No, he's just being, he's acting within his nature.
Okay.
I've got to come with you.
I think if I wasn't hungry and I didn't take it, you would be saying, why is he not trying to score there? Or so on and so forth if Jazz would have missed or something, you know. But...
Do you know what? No, I don't think no one's thinking like that, bro. He's just done a marathoner. Yeah. He's thinking
too many touches.
And then you're just there, you come into your house and he's just ate his food off the plate.
It would have been a great assist, though.
It would have been, but do you know what? It is what it is. And that's what we want. We want players hungry for a goal. And that's all that matters at the end of the day. And listen, you talked it out on the pitch, albeit, but you had your joke and a laugh, you move on. And it's only us bringing it up right now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I don't mind. Because if it was there again, I'd probably do the same thing. But this time, I'd make sure
that's what you made a career of. You score goals. That's it, man. It's just the way it is. The belly of the beast, mate.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Callum, thank you so much for joining us. It's been great chatting to you. Your positivity you offer, I can sense it already. So fingers crossed for this season and hopefully fingers crossed for you at the World Cup next summer.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
We'll build that on.
Bring it on. Cheers, Coley. Thank you so much. And thank you for listening. We'll see you next time on Ironcast. Until then, come on, you Irons.